Welcome into the Week 8 recap show. Nico's back. What's up, Nico?
Yes, sir. What up, man?
It's election day, so encourage everyone to go out and vote. And if you're voting for Joe Biden, I encourage you not to go out and vote. So, to start it off, very fitting, Leftist Tears, 4-4, defeats Gumpy Glizzies 1-7. In a low-scoring matchup, surging Leftist Tears beats Gumpy Glizzies with the help of Derrick Henry's big day. Though it is a big win for Leftist Tears, actual physical Leftist tears could be flowing tonight as it's election day. One can hope. As for Gumpy Glizzies, it is officially over. They'll wait to see who their last place opponent is, and they'll prep for weeks 15 and 16 when they'll try their hardest to stay out of the frigid Lake Erie water.
Neco's League 5-3 defeats Scoob Da Delinquent 4-4. Neco's League rolls to the highest score of the week in their win over Scoob Da Delinquent. A surprisingly big day from Brandon Ayuk helped Neco's League, along with a solid performance from Kamara, Adams, and Cup. Neco's League now officially has the second best record in the league and is in prime position to make the playoffs, maybe even a shot at winning the division.
Ben Steeler Virginity 4-4 defeats Washington Rednecks 4-4. Even after benching both of his beloved Steelers, Ben Steeler Virginity steamrolls the Washington Rednecks, who had an uncharacteristically underwhelming week. Ben Steeler Virginity is feeling the instant gratification of the biggest trade of the year, scooping up Dalvin Cook right before his absolutely insane 47-point performance. Don't count the Rednecks quarterbacks, and Dalvin Cook scored more than the entire rest of their team combined. We'll be on the lookout to see if Cook can continue the production and to see if first overall pick Christian McCaffrey plays like the first overall pick when he comes back from injury.
Bills Mafia 6-2 defeats No Pun Intended 4-4. Bills Mafia continues dominance over the league and upgrades to 6-2 in their win over No Pun Intended. Big day from Pat Mahomes and DK Metcalf secured the victory for Bills Mafia, but Amari Cooper and Adam Thielen struggled. Bills Mafia is great position to take a division title, but we'll see if luck runs out against Ben Steeler's Virginity next week. As for No Pun Intended, they'll have two most important games of their schedule coming up against the Washington Rednecks next week and the big rivalry game against Leftist Tears week 10.
All right, so week 9 power rankings for redraft. We'll start at the bottom. Staying put at number 8, Gumpy Glizzies. Moving down 2 spots to number 7, No Punt Intended. Staying put at number 6, Scoob Da Delinquent. Moving up 2 spots to number 5, Ben Steeler Virginity. Staying put at number 4, Nico's League. Moving down 1 spot to number 3, Washington Rednecks. Moving up 1 spot to number 2, Leftist Tears. And staying put at number 1, Bills Mafia. Nico, your thoughts on the power rankings for redraft?
Yeah, I'd say these rankings are pretty fair. I don't really have anything to go against them this time, to be honest.
It's pretty hard power ranking a league with a bunch of 4-4 teams.
Exactly. Yeah, it really is. And it's also
So it's
coming
like
close
splitting
to
hairs.
the end and everything. Yeah, literally.
Yep.
Anything can go.
All right, playoff probability. So seeds 1, 2, and 3 for 100,000 simulations. I want to preface this with even though Bills Mafia is at 100%, this does not take into account tiebreakers. So that's not technically 100%. This is just for the simulations that doesn't take into account tiebreakers. So Washington Rednecks 62.3%, Bills Mafia 100%, Scoob Da Delinquent 18.8%, Nico's League 75.1%, No Pun Intended 18.9%, Ben Steeler Virginity 0.0%, Leftist Tears 24.9%, and Gumpy Glizzies 0.0%. Ladder probabilities of 100,000 simulations. Same thing with the whole 0.0% thing. It's not taking into account tiebreakers, so it's not technically 0.0. Washington Rednecks 23.3%, Bills Mafia 0.0%, Scoob Da Delinquent 67.3%, Nico's League 24.9%, No Punt Intended 35.2%, Ben Steeler Virginity 81.3%, Leftist Tears 68.1%, and Gumpy Glizzies 0.0%. The only 0.0% there that actually is actually 0.0% is Gumpy Glizzies because he has officially clinched the last place game. Next week's probabilities will be out of all different scenarios. So next week's probabilities won't be simulations, though. There will be 16 different scenarios next week, and we'll take into account every single one of them. Clinches. So Bills Mafia has clinched dry land, and Gumpy Glizzies has clinched the last place game. That's it, which is kind of weird because, we're going into the second to last week of the regular season, and we only have 2 clinches. Okay. Big segment here. Everyone listen up to this one. Then we'll have one for Dynasty too, because this is a big segment. Playoff scenarios. This is what you got to do to clinch whatever. So Bills Mafia can clinch the Brady Division Championship with a win. That's it. Steeler Virginity clinches dry land with a win, and a Washington Rednecks win, and a Neco's League win, and a Gumpy Glizzies win. Scoob Da Delinquent clinches dry land with a win, and a Steeler Virginity win, and a Neco's League win, and a Washington Rednecks win. No Punt Intended clinches dry land with a win and a Bills Mafia win. Washington Rednecks clinches dry land with a win and a Bills Mafia win. Neco's League clinches dry land with a win or a Bills Mafia win. And Leftist Tears clinches dry land with a win and a Gumpy Glizzies win and a Bills Mafia win. So a lot of people are cheering for Ian this week.
Yeah, literally, I see that.
The Week 9 game of the week is Leftist Tears 4-4 versus Neco's League 4-4. This game will go a long way in deciding playoff seeding. Don't be surprised if these teams meet again very soon. Neco, good luck, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
I'm on a surge right now. All right, we'll move into Dynasty. Gump Dynasty 2-6 defeats I Am They 5-3. If you needed something to convince you that it is possible for Donald Trump to pull a crazy upset over Sleepy Joe, look no further than this game. Gump Dynasty has now completed 2 of the most improbable upsets this league has ever seen. This time led by Justin Herbert, Nyheim Hines, and DK Metcalf, Gump Dynasty improves to 2-6 and still has a possibility of making the ladder. As for I Am They, it was a heartbreaking loss that could keep the division title out of their reach. On the bright side, I Am They has clinched at least the ladder, so they will have a shot at an inaugural Dynasty Championship.
The Scoob Empire 4-4 defeats Comer Dynasty 2-6. Despite being at the bottom half of the league in scoring, the Scoob Empire pulls off a victory against Comer Dynasty. It's not all smiles for Scoob Empire though, as star tight end George Kittle is luckily out for the season. As for Comer Dynasty, there has never been anything like this. So many points for yet Comer Dynasty will have to fight to stay out of the last place game.
Prestige Worldwide 6-2 defeats Stratton Oakmont Inc. 5-3. Prestige Worldwide once again scores the most points in the league and bulldozes their way to 6-2 after dominating Stratton Oakmont Inc. An all-star performance from Dalvin Cook led the way, but even if Dalvin scored 0 instead of 47, Prestige Worldwide still would have relished in victory. Stratton Oakmont Inc. will have the most important game of the season so far against I Am They next week.
Neco's Dream Team 5-3 defeats Sneezy Raccoon 74 3-5. Alvin Ingram deserves a Monday Night Football for Neco's Dream Team to drive past Sneezy Raccoon 74 in the close matchup of the week. Neco's Dream Team improves to a much needed 5-3, still in contentions for the division title. Sneezy Raccoon 74 also posts a respectable week, scoring in the top half of the league and getting unlucky with the loss. Sneezy Raccoon 74 will need to win in these next 2 weeks to try and secure a ladder spot.
All right. Week 9 power rankings for Dynasty. These were actually a little bit tougher than redraft, which is kind of weird, but they were a little bit tougher than redraft. So at the bottom, staying put at number 8, Gump Dynasty. Staying put at number 7, the Scoob Empire. Staying put at number 6, Neco's Dream Team. Moving down 2 spots to number 5, I Am They. Moving up 1 spot to number 4, Prestige Worldwide. Moving down 1 spot to number 3, Comer Dynasty. Moving up 2 spots to 2, Sneezy Raccoon 74. And staying put at 1, Stratton Oakmont Inc. Neco, your thoughts on an intriguing rankings?
Just 2 questions. Why am I 6 and why is Comer and Sneezy 2 and 3?
So the thing with Trevor, Sneezy Raccoon 74 is that even though he lost this week, he only lost by like a little bit, so he still scored top half.
Mm-hmm.
So that warrants him to move up. But Pat Mahomes, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Stephon Diggs, that is elite. Elite.
Yeah, it is.
And he has Ryan Tannehill. So like I'm not these power rankings aren't like your chances of making the playoffs or your chances of winning a championship or something like that. The power rankings are literally just whether your team is good or not right now.
Yeah.
And his team is very, very good right now.
Yeah, he does have a really good squad. Like you said too, his quarterbacks, they can get you, and Derrick Henry. Man, yeah.
So the only reason I didn't move you up, Neco, is because even though you did really well this week, the good performances came out of guys like Gio Bernard and Robert Woods when you really need them to be coming out of Zeke Elliott and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If Zeke Elliott and Clyde Edwards-Helaire can't produce, then your team isn't that great.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that was tough.
So if Zeke and Clyde go off next week, you can expect to move up a lot in the rankings.
Oh yeah.
And then Cummer Dynasty has just been getting absolute awful luck. I mean, he didn't play very well this week. But he has just been getting like just terrible luck. I mean, he's like the second highest scorer in the league, and he's literally 2-6.
Yeah, that is crazy.
All right, we will move on past the power rankings here if I get back to them. So we'll go back to playoff probabilities. Same thing. 100% sometimes aren't technically 100% because of tiebreakers. So Prestige Worldwide, this is seeds 1, 2, and 3. Prestige Worldwide, 100%. I Am They, 62.5%. Strand Oakmont Inc., 74.9%. Sneezy Raccoon, 74, 0.0%. Neco's Dream Team, even 50%. Cummer Dynasty, 0.0%. The Scoob Empire, 12.7%. And Gump Dynasty, 0.0%. Ladder probabilities, seeds 4, 5, and 6. Prestige Worldwide, 0.0%. I Am They, 37.5%. Strand Oakmont Inc., 25.1%. Sneezy Raccoon, 74, 74.9%. Neco's Dream Team, even 50%. Cummer Dynasty, 25.1%. The Scoob Empire, 87.4%. And Gump Dynasty, 0.0%. Clinches, so teams have clinched. Prestige Worldwide has clinched dry land. I Am They has clinched dry land. Stratton Oakmont Inc. has clinched dry land. And you, Neco, have clinched dry land. Playoff scenarios. So everyone listen up. Obviously the biggest segment of the show so far. Prestige Worldwide clinches the 4-for-4 division championship with a win and Scoob Empire win. Stratton Oakmont Inc. clinches the $5 box division championship with a win. Sneezy Raccoon 74 clinches dry land with a win. The Scoob Empire clinches dry land with a win and a Prestige Worldwide win and a Sneezy Raccoon 74 win. Cummer Dynasty clinches last place game with a loss, and Gump Dynasty clinches last place game with a loss. The Week 9 game of the week in Dynasty is I Am They 5-3 versus Stratton Oakmont Inc. 5-3. This is the game that might decide the $5 box division. Winner is looking good to play in the 1v2 game. If Mason wins that game, he is automatically the division champion. And then if Lance wins that game, then he's probably going to be the division champion, but we'll have to wait for week 10. Mm-hmm. So that's the scenario there. All right. That's a mouthful.
Yep.
But we got a lot of scenarios. The scenarios, I can tell you right now, Neco, the scenarios are going to be absolutely insane next week.
Yeah. That's honestly what I'm waiting for, just to see like who's it going to come down to, who's going to be fighting for that dry land, or even make it to the playoffs. That's kind of how close this is. So
in redraft, I was going through the scenarios in redraft for this week, and I've been realizing that for next week there is a possibility that like 5 teams tie for second to last place, which means that like there would have to be some crazy sort of tiebreaker to figure out who goes to the last place game and who makes the ladder.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely nuts. It's also going to come down to a lot of points for. So you definitely want to get your points in these next 2 weeks because you're going to need them.
Yeah, literally. Hopefully you scored a lot those weeks too, of all the weeks.
All right. Any last words from you, Neco?
Man, it's just gonna get interesting. It's gonna be interesting these next weeks. That's the word.
I'm ready to beat you next week, Neco.
Man,
I'm ready.
I'm ready for the fight. I know Kyler Murray's gonna be coming back, but it's gonna be tough. Hopefully Herbert can just keep going crazy.
Thanks for listening to the Week 8 recap. We'll be back for Week 9 promptly next week, and we'll get ready for some crazy scenarios for Week 10. We will see you later. Peace.
Peace.